Okay, welcome aboard, everybody, and wake up to Aunt Renee. That's right. Oh, unbelievable. Good morning, everybody, and a lot to learn, a lot to talk about, and a lot to say, so let's get right to it. Good morning, everybody in the chat room. Nice to have you aboard. Thanks for opening up the door, Greg. Really appreciate it, as we do every day. We are in Laguna Beach, California. Laguna Beach. That's right, and I will give you a lesson in travel, okay? In one of the dumbest things I've ever heard and ever done, we booked a room in Laguna Beach, and this is going to be among the toughest podcasts I have ever done, without a question. The screen is, my neck is looking up. I don't know how long I can do it. The Yankee game against Houston rained out. So not a lot of material, but we still got a lot of stuff. But here's the thing. So we booked the hotel because it has, we're facing the water. How about that? We are facing the water. Now, you would think that when you're facing the water, it's going to be pretty cool, right? But there's a difference between ocean view and facing the water. Yeah, we're facing the water, but nobody told us there was a building between the water and where we're staying. So we have a balcony facing the water, looking at the building in front of us, okay? And then the water's behind that. But we're facing the water. That's so read between the lines. You know, you got to be smart. Facing the water doesn't always do it, okay? So just to give you a little lesson on life. And as you learned yesterday in the morning, the Yankee game wasn't even close. They're supposed to have some kind of cyclone or I don't know what's going on in New York, trying to get a handle on it. But nonetheless, who do you think benefits from this rainout? The Yankees or the Houston Astros? We will see. Okay, we'll talk about that in just a second. And I have a Twitter poll up on that if you'd like to see it. Also, the other Twitter poll question is this: in addition to who benefits from the rainout, comeback player of the year. Who do you think it's going to be? Hunter Pence, Josh Donaldson, or Jorge Soler in the American League? That's for comeback player of the year. The votes are piling in, so if you get a chance, go up to Twitter and take a look, okay? That would be terrific if you could do that. All right, let's get right to it. And John Madden, not John Madden, what's his name? Joe Madden. Joe Madden signs a deal with the Angels, and, it's, who knows what it is, $4 million a year. It's not certain if he's still the highest paid manager in the majors, but, he's in that territory. Now, what do we know about Madden? And yesterday we talked about maybe knowing the umpires and their tendencies. And we talked about an umpire who's, got the tendencies for a rather large strike zone, and that is something that you should know when you're playing DFS. Learn the umpires. It does give you a little bit of an edge. And also for season long, learn the managers and their tendencies. And what we know about Madden is that he likes to platoon. He likes to get everybody in the lineup every day. That doesn't mean that Mike Trout's coming out every day. And don't forget, Shohei Ohtani will not be eligible to be drafted as a pitcher. Don't forget, in most leagues, he does not have the eligibility requirements to be drafted as a pitcher next year. So it's going to be interesting. And now the question is, I know Paul Sporer made a comment about a week ago that the Astros should go ahead and get Garrett Cole and Steven Strasburg. All right, so the Angels. So it's going to be, this is move number one, and we expect the Angels to be very active in the offseason, and we'll see what happens. This offseason could be a very active offseason, that's for sure, okay? So Madden hiring, first in a busy time for managers. There are 7 openings that have yet to be filled. So it's going to be hot and heavy with the managers, and along with the managers, you got to believe that the teams that are investing in new managers are going to invest in new players. So this offseason could be among the most exciting that we've had in a long time, okay? So the Angels coming off a disastrous year. Madden worked for decades as Angels minor league player, as a minor league player and a manager, and he was a major league coach before starting what we'll call a legendary Major League Baseball managing career with Tampa, okay? So that's what we got. A lot of activity on these polls, so please, if you can, take advantage and give it a try. Good morning to Greg, DK Lush, and Unholy Toledo in the chat room. So I guess a lot of people don't have confidence in the old legend, right? Because the game was rained out and it's the off season. You would think there's nothing to say. I say bull dinky and poppycock. Okay? There's plenty to say. So let's go right to it now and get to some of the action. I find it very interesting when you take a look at the teams that are successful this year. Take a look at the teams that are successful. And there's one thing that they have in common, okay? The oldest teams in Major League Baseball by average age, oldest teams. The tendency in Major League Baseball now is aim for cheap young players, right? So that's the tendency. That's what we all think. That's the way to go. But take a look at the oldest teams in Major League Baseball by average age. The number one, 31-year-old average, the Washington Nationals. Made the World Series. The Yankees, average age 30 years old. The Braves, average age just close to 30, or 29.7. All right, they win the National League East. The Astros, 29.4. All right, the Dodgers, 29, 106 wins. The Cardinals, 28.8. Do we still aim for the cheap young guys? All these, the Nationals, the Yankees, the Braves, the Astros, the Dodgers, the Cardinals, were all the most successful teams in Major League Baseball. So the top 6 teams in average age, the oldest average age, are the most successful teams this year. Let's see if that makes a difference in Major League Baseball, in the thought process, and everything else, okay? Let's see if it does. And one of the interesting things about this offseason is in Washington, Ryan Zimmerman, who has played for the Nationals in every season of their existence. He has played in every season of their existence. He's outlasted 2 general managers. He has outlasted 7 managers, and he's outlasted Bryce Harper. Right? So, and finally, he's seen dismal losing and miserable heartbreak, and he is the face of the Washington National franchise, and he's going to the World Series. Okay, he is going to the World Series. So, one of the good stories of the year to see Ryan Zimmerman, who has hung out for a long time. And he has been. I have a Ryan Zimmerman shirt, right, yep, from years ago. Yes, I do. By the way, Andrea Adorable is sitting here. She had a rough night last night, and it wasn't because of me. I mean, we're in a dump, okay? We pay $200 a night. We don't pay $200 a night anywhere we go, but we figured we'd get a chance to stay on the beach. And don't forget, we're facing the water. But they didn't tell us that there's a building between. We look out the window and we see another building, but we're facing the water. That's the important thing. Had we been facing the other way, it would have cost us $25, right? But we're facing the water, so we can. And it's unbelievable. I mean, it's a good place, but it's pretty much of a dump. Trying to get the air conditioner on last night was impossible. It would go on and off. Can't figure out how to turn the lights on in this place. We got Andrea's aunt. Well, I'm not supposed to say that, but she's here. And it's unbelievable, all right? And Andrea's walking around. I can't turn the TV on because we got to put I got to put my notes up on the TV screen because she threw a remote control at me, missed my head, and broke my screen. But we managed to figure it out. So it's a little difficult right now. This is the toughest time I've ever had with a podcast, okay? The toughest. We can't get on the internet. We have to use our hotspot on our phone, and then she goes out to the car to get something and takes the phone with her. So it's just a myriad of things, okay? Now, Tanaka goes in Game 4. It's likely, as per Aaron Boone, that James Paxton's going to go in Game 5. Now, in Game 4 for the Astros, it's been announced that Zach Greinke, and in Game 6, it's going to be Justin Verlander. Now, this hurts the Yankees, and I'll tell you why, okay? It hurts the Yankees. The 4 games in a row, no off day. With the rain out, Tanaka could pitch Game 4 on 4 days' rest. The Yankees have long perceived he's better when he works on 5 days' rest. So let's see if the Yankees go ahead and actually pitch Tanaka on 4 days' rest. He is dynamite with 5 games' rest, and Tanaka has been susceptible to, he has to be right on schedule. So it's going to be interesting to see. Major League Baseball cannot afford to do this year, and certainly they must remedy it for next year. To have 4 games in a row because of one rainout is ridiculous. And here we are, October 17th. We haven't started one more rainout, and Major League Baseball is really in trouble, okay? October 17th. The World Series looks like it's going to be between the Astros and the Nationals. Now, the Nationals do not have a dome stadium, and it's in Washington. It's going to be the end of October, okay? Is Houston a dome stadium? Well, that's in Houston. But this is going to be tough. Major League Baseball, we put a poll up the other day, and we asked, should the season be shortened in Major League Baseball? And I think one of the reasons that it should, you can't have baseball at the end of October. You just can't. It used to be that October 5th, World Series would start, and that was stretching it. Some bad weather coming on the East Coast, that would be a disaster. And that's what's happening, okay? So Major League Baseball's got to make a change. They're already making a change by not having all the call-ups next year. And it's going to be interesting to see. 4 games in a row, no day off. That's what it's going to be. I'll point out that the Yankees' run prevention has been fantastic so far. They have a 2.29 ERA, best of any team in the playoffs. But with Ottavino struggling and potentially 4 games in 4 days, you got to favor the Astros. Absolutely. And Ottavino has really hurt his stock, okay? Game 6, let's see. Game 4. Game 4 is Thursday, 7 o'clock Central Time. Game 5 is Friday, 6 o'clock Central Time. Game 6 is Saturday, 7 o'clock. No day games at all. This is why the kids of America are not getting into baseball. One of the reasons. Major League Baseball has to make that change. They have got to allow the youth of America, and this is not the first time that you've heard it, they've got to allow the youth of America a chance to watch some of these games. All right, so Sunday could be Game 7. That's at 6:30, okay, Central Time. It could be a great Sunday night. Now, for the Yankees to win the World Series now, the ALCS, they have to take 3 out of 4 from the Astros, okay, with games played 4 straight days. So the question is, and here's the question, how much can the Yankees get out of their bullpen with so many short starts, okay? And the last 2 games are in Houston. Let's see this Yankee bullpen. Let's see what they could do to bail this team out and get them to the World Series. Once again, a sincere thanks to Greg and DK Lush. And Timothy, my hooker, is here. Zelmo has joined us. Good morning. And, of course, Greg, who open the doors as usual, okay? So stand outside, Greg, and wave people in. Okay. Moving right along. I can't blame you. You don't think that the legend is going to fill some time, right? Well, it's going to be a tough one, but we're going to do it. Okay, back to the action with the Yankees. It's going to be, it's not a given. So the Yankees. Now, here's an interesting thing. Very interesting. Aaron Boone says no decision will be made until Giancarlo Stanton proves that he could play on Thursday. So he says he can definitely pinch hit. So Giancarlo Stanton, who has been a non-factor in this in the whole playoff series, is still not deemed ready to play. Okay, now Washington would love to have another rainout. The Astros and the Yankees, they hope the Astro and the Yankees series goes 7 games. That'll leave the winner with absolutely an exhausted bullpen for the start of the World Series. This really, the team that really benefits the most from the rainout happens to be the Washington Nationals, okay? They absolutely, and one of the things very interesting about the Nationals and a Nationals player, Fernando Rodney, if he gets into a game for the Nationals in the World Series, then that means, Andrea, are you listening to me? That means that Fernando Rodney will have pitched in an American League wildcard game, a National League wildcard game, an AL Division Series, an NL Division Series, an ALCS, an NLCS, and a World Series for both an American League team and a National League team. Okay? Unbelievable. Okay? Pitchers that have appeared in both American and National League wildcard games. Very small. John Lester, Jason Grilley, Mark Zapinski, Fernando Rodney, Wade Davis, Francisco Liriano, Justin Wilson, Greg Holland, Jake McGee, and Jeris Familia. So Fernando Rodney about to do something very special. I got to tell you that this may be one of the shorter podcasts of the year, but under the conditions, I begged Andy, let somebody else do this podcast, and she was determined to get it up, and she was pretty much up all night, cursing the TV, cursing the place we're staying in, and she didn't leave me out at all either. So pretty interesting, okay? And there you go. But we're still here, and our trip will still continue. Moving right along. Let's go to the Cardinal series. The National series. The Nationals rotation was so impressive in that National League Championship Series. The Cardinals hit 149 against the National starters. 141, not 149. That's giving them too much. 141 against the net starters. That, my friends, is the lowest. All right, Andy, I lost my mouse. Oh, I found my mouse. You almost witnessed Andrea looking for my mouse, which would have been pretty interesting. Okay. The Nationals rotation, the Cardinals hit 141 against the National starters, and that, my friends, is the lowest opponent batting average allowed by any rotation in a best-of-7 postseason series. Pretty good with the National pitching. Yeah. Pretty good. And the Nationals, since September 23rd, so this is not just new. September 23rd, they're 16-2 with a 2.94 ERA. They have a 99-55 run differential. The rotation is 12-1 with a 2.6 ERA. They have under a 1 whip. They have 23. What is that? 2.3 K per 9 from the rotation, wow. And the offense has hit 21 home runs with a 790 OPS. So the Nationals are right there. They are waiting. Will they get stale? Sometimes teams that are rolling, and the National League pitching is rolling, sometimes they prefer not to have the layoff, not to wait. So it's going to be pretty interesting. And, that's what happens when you take a look at the Arizona Fall League. It has always been a hitting league. However, with the fact that they moved the dates back and the pitchers had less of a layoff, you'd have to take the position that it was not a hitting league that we saw this year. So the pitchers are fresher. The layoff means a big deal. Okay? So there you go. All right, we will continue to pile on and hopefully do the podcast again tomorrow. Are we going to be here tomorrow? Mm-hmm. No, we're moving out. Nope. Right? This is our second day here.
Yeah, we'll be here in the morning.
We'll be here in the morning, okay? We will try to do the podcast tomorrow morning. We'll see what happens, but I really do appreciate you guys coming in. I got to tell you, this may have been the toughest podcast ever. I can't even look up anymore. Thanks to Greg, to DK Luce, to Timothy Hooker, to Unholy Toledo and Zelmo, and thanks to Andrea for really getting this thing going. Really appreciate it, everybody, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Sorry for the short podcast, but it's just impossible to do this. Thanks, everybody. We'll speak to you again tomorrow.